Hello everybody and welcome to this new video of FreeCAD. In this video we will go learning how to design things on the 3D dimension and be ready to print them. As we have seen before, first thing to do when we open FreeCAD is to create a new file. For this we can use this icon or else choose New on the File menu. We create a new design, then we have to select the workbench. As we are creating parts, new parts, we select the part workbench. And here we have a new set of icons that will allow us to create new parts. In this video, we are trying to make a dice for board games. This will help us to introduce new concepts as union, intersection, and subtraction to create more complex parts, starting with simple parts. So for creating a dice, first of all, let's make a cube. So we have this cube. Remember, we can change the point of view with these icons, or else choosing the navigation style you prefer. I prefer Blender with the middle button of the mouse. So we have this dice. Is this dice of the right dimension? It's very important to make our students understand that dimensions matter, because here, as we can change the zoom, we don't really know if our cube is this size or very small. So for that, we select the cube, we go to data, and we see it's 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters. This seems a good size for a dice, but we could do it even bigger. As it's our own dice, let's make as we want. So let's put 20, 20, and 20. So more or less this size dice. So we have the dice. Next thing we can want to do is to round a little bit the corners of the dice so that it's a little bit more pretty. So let's see how we will do that. Look at this. If we put a sphere, first thing we would like to do is that the sphere and the cube are centered, so they are on the same size. So let's move the sphere to the middle of the cube. If the cube is 20, 20, 20, in order to move the sphere, we have to translate it by 10 millimeters on each axis. So if we go to placement and we go to position, we can set 10, 10, and 10. What's the problem now? We cannot see the sphere. Look at this. If I select the cube and press the spacebar, the cube disappears. So I realize that the sphere is still there. Okay? I just don't see it because it's inside of my cube. So if I press spacebar, the cube goes transparent, so to speak. So let's make the sphere a little bit bigger so that we can see it. So we go to the radius. If the cube is 20, 20, 20, let's try with a 10 millimeters radius. It's not still there, and let's grow. Okay, it's already almost there. Let's make a little bit bigger. For example, 15. Okay, so we have now the sphere, we can see it here, and the cube. Okay, the sphere and the cube. Why I've been doing this? So what happens if I make the intersection of the sphere and the cube? So I just keep the common parts of both. Let's see what it happens. I go to this standard view, I zoom a little bit, okay, and I select both of them. When I select both of them, I can see here enabled a new set of operations. These operations are the union, subtraction, and intersection. So if I want to make the intersection with both parts selected, I just click on this icon and look what happened. So the common part, that is the intersection of the cube and the sphere, is this new part, which is called common. I can call it, for example, name base dice. Okay? So this new part, it's similar to what we would expect from a dice. If you see inside, you still have here the cube and the sphere, so you can know that this part is made out of the intersection, check this small icon, the intersection of the cube and sphere. And what is most important, I could still modify, for example, the properties of the sphere. Let's make the sphere a little bit bigger, 18 radius. You see, my final shape has changed. A little bit smaller, 17. So I have smaller corners, 16. A little bit bigger corners. And if I go back to my original size, 15, I have again the initial dice. So this is very important. Whenever you combine two shapes, you still have the independent parts and you can still modify the properties of the original parts. So for this we have seen the intersection. What other things we can do here? Of course, we would need to place the holes that set the number of our dice. So, and these holes should be to remove a small sphere from the dice. So we are seeing a new Boolean operation, which is subtract. So I want to remove from the dice a small sphere. So first of all, we make the sphere, okay, it's here. We want to move it to the middle of this face. So if this face is 20 by 20, the middle would be move 10 on the x-axis. Okay, we know here this is the x-axis. Move 10 through the x-axis and 10 through the z-axis, while you don't move it on the y-axis. On the y-axis, it remains on the same place. So we can rename this to know that we are making the one side, okay, the one number, and then let's place it on a different position. We have set 10 by x-axis, 10 by z-axis, and finally let's make it a little bit smaller. For example, 3 millimeters, that seems still too much, 2 millimeters. Okay, so see, if I see it from the side, that I have the cube with the sphere here. So I want to remove from the bigger part the small sphere. So for doing that, I select the bigger part, then pressing Ctrl key. So while pressing Ctrl key, I select the smaller part, and then I see here that I have enabled the make a cut, so subtract the smaller part. If I click on the icon, I cannot see now the sphere, but if I rotate, here it is. I already have the whole setting the one number. So for designing your own dice, remember that opposite face must add up 7. That is this is the one face, this one should be the 6th face, because 1 plus 6 is 7. If we make this one the 2 face, the opposite face should be the 5th face. Now you can design your own dice and then print it. You are almost ready to design your own board games. So let's see each other on the next video to keep on learning on FreeCAD.